Welcome back to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben. This is my review for Beverly Hills Cop 3, directed by John Landis, who directed Eddie Murphy before. In Coming to America, he helms Beverly Hills Cop 3 in 1994. It was a 15 hour and 44 minutes long. It is one that was panned by critics and had mixed reactions from both the audience and the director himself, because Eddie Murphy wanted to play Axel Foley much more seriously because he felt that Axel Foley was more of an adult now, which is why the comedy is a bit of a mix mash in this film. Let me know your thoughts about the film below. Check out my reviews for Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2 in preparation for Beverly Hills Cop 3, but let's jump in. While investigating a car theft ring, comes across something much bigger than that. The same men who killed his boss are running a counterfeit money ring out of a theme park in Los Angeles. So once again, the trilogy manages to connect emotionally through characters that we've come to like and know. This time round, it's the captain of Axel Foley who gets gunned down, and we are with Alex Foley. We want him to find the bad guys. We want him to find these guys that are making counterfeit money out of a Disneyland-esque, I think it's called Wonderland, Disney themed, very similar to Disney parks. And most of the film's big action set pieces are set there, which makes it really interesting. But like I mentioned earlier, it's Axel trying to be more serious, but I didn't find it was too serious. I did find him still having a lot of fun with his character. He has somewhat grown up. For me, the missing part of the trio, because we only have Judge Reinhold there with him, and we don't have the third serious cop partner that was becoming a much likable character. Rather, we're introduced to a new character. So it just doesn't quite work with the new characters. I think they're going to try and bring back all of the main characters in number 4. I'm trying to avoid trailers. But for now, this film does work because it still has Axel Foley, it still has Judge Reinhardt, and we have those two, Reinhold, we have those two characters that work off each other, especially now as our characters have grown up and they are acting somewhat more aged, I guess. But we still get the wheeler dealer special one-liners from Eddie Murphy that works best. His laugh is still there. All of that works well. And for the most part, everything is in camera again. The action set pieces are in the park mostly. And we see some interesting fights with gunplay. The henchmen still can't shoot anything with spraying their Uzis.
Uzi 9mm.
Uzis everywhere, their handguns, they still can't hit anything. That has been the tried and tested formula of Hollywood's movies for ages, especially in the 80s, but especially in this trilogy. There are some continuity mistakes. There are some interesting moments where you see characters shoot at one direction, but the characters are in another direction. There are moments like that might take you out of it if you notice such things. If not, and you're just a fan of 80s movies, I think you'll enjoy this again. It's definitely the worst of the 3, but because Eddie Murphy is so good at his character by now, and we've seen the character come a long way since 1, and we care about the captain and Judge Reinhold. It's the connections of the trilogy that make you kind of root for the guys to find the counterfeiters, but also mostly to take down the bad guys that took down his captain. There is a bit of a side story romance that sort of starts that I don't think we needed in this, that kind of goes nowhere, and I guess it's one of those the good guy wins and gets the girl sort of thing, but I also just don't think we needed it. I think this film could have been a lot better. The script was said to have been terrible, but they went ahead with it because they still had Eddie Murphy attached to it. I think the script isn't nearly as terrible as they made it out. I still think it's a fun kind of watch if you're watching it as a trilogy, or maybe kind of a refresher, trying to figure out what they're going to do for 4. I think, once again, the fish out of water character works well for Axel Foley. This guy, a bit of a rough cop who is this guy that has the best one-liners, skirts the edge of the law, comes to Beverly Hills where everybody, there's cops especially, straight-laced and all up in technology, that kind of thing. And he pushes people's buttons once again. It's part of his character that has worked and you see him, and wherever he ends up in the richness, that 1% of Hollywood, this Axel Foley character, played by Eddie Murphy, does a fantastic job at pushing the people's buttons just to get that information that he needs. And that's, I think, for the most part, the fun. I thought the action was well choreographed, even though it was mostly at a fun park. I think there are in-camera action stunt set pieces, especially on the wheel, that look, a Ferris wheel, that look real. Obviously done by stunt people that are doing a fantastic job. I miss that about Hollywood, or in stunt camera action. And, you know, as a trilogy, when they say they don't make them like that anymore, they don't. 1 and 2, I think, are fantastic films. 3 is okay. I'm going to give it 3 Nicolas Cages out of 5.
You got one.
Let me know what you think about this trilogy as a whole. Who's your favorite character? Which do you think is the better story, 1 or 2? It definitely won't be 3, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on the trilogy as a whole. Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.